Shalom unto the elect of the nation of Israel. All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rechak, Wadash. Double honor unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. So in Proverbs chapter 2, I'm going to start verse 1 obviously. It says, My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Now, a doctrine, an ideology of philosophy, is something that you care for, right? It's referred to as a woman or a wife, whether being on the left hand or the right hand. Now we're striving for the right hand, for that incorruptible crown, while the world and our people that unfortunately, or fortunately, however we view it, is the Lord's plan. They must perish on this side. But fortunately, they will make it back in the kingdom through the loins of the elect. And Lord willing, we be of that. Lord willing, we even be Israelites. Okay, because that even comes by faith. We have a genealogy all the way back to the man Yaakov, Yasharala, Jacob, Israel. But anyway, Revelation 14 and 4. These were they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahawah and unto the Lamb. That's talking obviously about these. It says 140 and 4,000. Right, they're going to be the top men. Like you have in this world, you do have the idea of a top man and elite. Right, an elite goes back to that word elegar, elect, and we'll actually look that up. I've just got my laptop right here, so bear with me. When I look up this word elite, according to etymonline.com, it says a choice or select body. And what body? The body of Hamashiach. That's going to be the elite, the elect. In the kingdom, they're going to be the top men. Right, and there will be women and children of the elect, but this 144,000 is speaking of the ruling class of men. So, etymonline.com elite, a choice or select body, the best part, from 1823, from French, elite, selection, choice, from Old French, elite, or it's Eslite, not too sure how to pronounce that, forgive me. 12th century, feminine past participle of elire, eliste, or elise, to pick out, choose. Sorry, it says pick out, choose. It doesn't say to, as I misspoke. From Latin, elegere, choose, see, election, see. This is borrowed in Middle English as chosen person, late 14th century, especially a bishop-elect, but it died out mid-15th century. And it goes on, well, it doesn't go on for a while, just for a bit, but that's not relevant to what we're touching on. So there will be an elite, an elect, a select group, and we strive for that, to be of on any level. Obviously, you'd want the top position, but that comes with a lot of burden, a lot of troubling in the flesh. So really, we just pray that we make it, man. We don't want to get caught up in the judgment, the wrath of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, which really is indignation, righteous anger. Right, so Proverbs 2 and 2, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Proverbs 7 here, and 4 and 5 says, Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Now, as we just spoke of, these women, this one's talking about the strange woman. It's not saying you can never lay with a heathen woman, a non-Israelite woman. It's talking about a doctrine that would defile you, or it's strange because you depart from it. We're not used to, or in our pure form, let I say, make me say, we're not used to being defiled with women, strange women, other doctrines. Right, Proverbs 2 and 3. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, and it's more valuable. Alright, let me just search that precept up. Now there'll be no thing that we'll have to search up scriptures in the kingdom. Right, it's going to be within us, literally. And that's a beautiful thing. That's something we strive for. That's why we try to purge this flesh on this side, but we're always in the flesh on this side. But the beautiful things, we will be changed. We shall not all sleep, but we will be changed. We shall all be changed. Right, and I did a lesson on that. I believe it was with this music as well. Some people like the music, some people don't, but I like it. It's relaxing. It's nice. Not nice, because nice means lack of science, but it's calming unto the spirit. Proverbs 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. So she's a woman she's a virtuous woman is wisdom. Alright, that should be your first wife. So then, in fact, this is Proverbs 16 and 16. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding, rather to be chosen than silver? Like it says, with all that getting, get understanding. What's that? 3 and 7, I believe. No, there it is. Wait, hold on. I'll have to search that. What are they getting? 4 and 7. Forgive me. Right, Proverbs 4 and 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thine getting, get understanding. Let me look that up. Proverbs 4 and 7. This word in the Hebrew for getting is quanayan, or quanayana. I'd have to check that, but I believe it would be quanayan, so forgive me. But that word there, it says substance 4 times in the King James, of ... getting twice, goods 2, riches once, with once, thing acquired. Now this says, these are just the definitions it gives. Thing acquired, acquisition, possession, purchase, property, wealth. Thing acquired by purchase, creatures, not general. So as it says, it's better to get wisdom than to get worldly riches. Right, and storing up our riches in heaven, where moth nor dust doesn't corrupt. A thief cannot break through and steal it. Only the Lord can take wisdom away, and He will, if it's according to His will. That's why we have to stay girded in this. So with all our riches, everything we get, we should be applying it. Well, how can I get more wisdom? How can I increase? Not in the world, but in the Word. Right, in the Spirit. What can I apply? Might be books, resources, concordance. Not to say of many books. Making of many books, there is no end. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. And further, by these my son be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. So not to say it as in that's the be all and end all. Certain times a secular book may have an actual witness that helps us bring out the biblical truth. Or it might be a concordance, or it might be having a short circuit up in my brain on that exact topic there. But I'm sure you know what I mean by that. You can buy things that help you progress in this. Maybe one of you brothers could suggest what someone could buy. But with all that getting, everything you get, Use it to build yourself up spiritually, primarily. Of course, there's certain things we need, clothing, a roof, but with all that getting, get understanding. So Proverbs 2:4, if thou seekest her, and who is her? Wisdom, understanding, or understanding specifically in this one. We'll just recap Proverbs 2:2, so that thou, what's that one? My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou canst after knowledge, yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, and find the knowledge of power. And that's what it's about, fear. Right, that's the beginning of knowledge. So you don't even have knowledge before you fear the Lord. So never mind, going into all these. I'll just read this and then I'll go into that. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of Yahawah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. But we want to get close unto wisdom, right? As in a kinswoman, even your sister. Families are very, very close. In the old days, there were certain things. If your son was being stubborn and rebellious, you'd take him unto the elders. And certain judgments of the law, it's written that all Israel would see it and fear. Right, so it'd be a very quote-unquote tight-knit community. Like the apostles always emphasize to us, you really have to see these things. When you see a law, you have to imagine it. You have to be a man of vision. So I think, well, how would that play out? What would these people be doing? But really, we'll see it all in the kingdom. That's what it's striving for. More things are shown unto us than men understand. So this is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 3, verse 21 through 24. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are shewed unto thee than men understand. But don't be too deep, be one deep, as Elder Menatazachbar says. Okay, be one deep. Don't stumble trying to be the new top teacher in Israel. Alright, just take time with it. Grow. If so be you've tasted that the Lord is gracious. Okay. It says, be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are shewed unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment. So you may buck up against a certain law because of how you feel, how you've grown up in the world, in this seclorum, and we're very disoriented. Orient means east, so we're very stuck in the west, and we forgot what's best, which would be these scriptures. So go back to Proverbs 2. So it said, Proverbs 2:5, then shalt thou understand the fear of Yahawah and find the knowledge of power. For Yahawah giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Meaning what Yahawashi, who came out of his mouth, for he is known as the word of Yahawah, according to many scriptures. We'll just hit this one. Revelation 13 and Salakia. Arabic numerals, there they go again. Revelation 19 and 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Power. Right, the Word of Yahawah, truly. So that is him. We'll get this one in John. Brother Hapak went into this the other day. John 1:14, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. And that's talking about Yahawashi, Hamashiach, who the world ignorantly calls on names Jesus Christ. Right, but now the truth of the gospel is being preached and proclaimed throughout all the world. And we know that's a prophecy before the end would come. So again, that's a beautiful thing that we're able to even witness that and understand it. Right, count your blessings, man. Psalm chapter 33 and verse 6. By the word of Yahawah were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. So with Yahawashi, who is Yahawah's word, Yahawashi being the Son, Yahawah being the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls Jehovah, or simply God. Allah, Allah in Hebrew just means power, but some may call the Heavenly Father that, there be of an Islamic persuasion or whatever. And many people have a different name, but the Most High, creator of heaven and earth, he created it through Yahawashi, through halalyam, but ultimately the order, it came from him, came from Yahawah. So it said Proverbs 2:6, for Yahawah giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. And who are the righteous? Israel. Now, a large proportion of the nation of Israel is going off right now. In the kingdom, it's prophesied that all thy people should be righteous. So Israel is known as the righteous. This is Isaiah 60:21. Thy people all and who's Isaiah's people? Or who was Isaiah preaching, proclaiming, prophesying unto, and mainly about? Now you have, of course, how it says in Jeremiah 28:8, I believe it is. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of peace and of pestilence. But who was thy people in this context? Not to say that the prophets never went against or spoke of anyone else. When it's talking about thy people getting salvation, it's not Elam. I'll give you a clue. It's not Elam. Right, Isaiah 16:21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. So all the Israelites. And that's beautiful. That's in accordance with Jeremiah 31, which is the new covenant. And we'll just read a brief part of this. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahawah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharallah and with the house of Yahawah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahawah. But this shall be the covenant that I'll make with the house of Yasharallah after those days, saith Yahawah. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. Right, so who's my people? Who's thy people? They shall all be righteous. The Israelites, the law. Right, the law, I think it's 7:14, Paul called it just and holy. If I can find that, it's not quite there, so forgive me for that. So he said here, Romans 7:12, wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. And forgive me for the paraphrasing, but there is Romans 7:12, wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good. So if that's inside the Israelites, it's just, it's righteous, then all thy people being righteous, well, they'll have the law. We're not justified by the law, we're justified through our faith. But through our faith will bring that great Well, what was promised aforetime. 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Mocking death. Where are you now? Jake will be like, if he wins in a worldly tournament, well, what are you saying now? Yeah, what are you saying now, G? Well, what about that? Oh, death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? What are you on now? It says the sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to Yahawah, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach. I believe that was a direct quote from Isaiah 25 and 8. It says, he will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord Yahawah will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For Yahawah hath spoken it. And it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our power. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Yahawah. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. And again, that's a beautiful, beautiful precept. As they all are, of course. But certain ones, they resonate more. You have different scriptures that resonate with different brothers, different sisters, different children even. Right? They're going to have a certain connection to certain scriptures. It might be the one that was first ever taught to you, and so it hits different. Right? But those scriptures about us getting changed, we're going to get changed from this dirty flesh, man. And that's a promise. Right? That's a promise. Proverbs 2 and 6. For Yahawah giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. And again, to prove the Israelites are the saints, the righteous, you have this Proverbs 50 and 5. Gather my saints together, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. If you're not aware of that, even Paul told us that. Not to say that Paul didn't teach us knowledge, but even re-emphasize concepts that certain people say, well, that's the Old Testament. Well, Paul taught it as well. Romans 9, verse 3 through 5. If I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahawah, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerned the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, Yahawah blessed forever. Amen. So that's who it was for. That's who made a covenant with him by sacrifice. Psalm 148 and 14, he also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, Yasharallah, a people near unto him, praise ye Yahawah. And even an old English word meaning indeed. Look that up. Right, Proverbs 7 Proverbs 2, verse 8. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness, and judgment, and equity, yea, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. Want to chip you. Alright, charagma. I won't say too much on that. For strike purposes. But Revelation 13 and 16, it's coming, man. Every day we get closer. It says, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. And there was a path. Abraham taught it. Isaac taught it. It says, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their paths. Reminds me of Psalm 58 and 3. Look that up. To deliver thee from the strange woman. We spoke of that, innit? To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger, which flattereth with her words. Now we spoke, that's about a doctrine. But it says, look, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power. So who had a covenant with power? Israel. So that's what, if that is talking about a literal woman, as some may argue, well, that would be an Israelite stranger. Right, just to bring that out. But no, it's talking about when you see these strange women, they'll take you away from wisdom. Right, that would be a doctrine. Proverbs 2 and 18. For her house inclineth unto death, unto Lamawath, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. So that cause you to stumble. Right, stumbling in the ways of our ancient paths. Proverbs 2 and 20 on down, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. I pray that was edifying. Shalom to the elect, double honour unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and labour in the word and the doctrine. All praises belongeth unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Quadash. Shalom.